Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I've posted a video, but I thought this video would be perfect because we are now in summer and it's been super warm where I live. So I really wanted to show this foundation combination that I've been using for years now. It really helps to keep me matte and my skin doesn't get so oily throughout the day. Not to mention it also lasts me all day. So if you guys want to see the products that I use today, then just keep on watching. I also want to apologize for my voice. I've been trying to fight this cold for a week now and it's the worst thing ever to be sick in the summer. So hopefully I'll get better. Alright, so I currently have no makeup on. All I have is my moisturizer, and today I am trying out this L'Oreal Paris Hydrogenous lotion or moisturizer. I do usually use a clean and clear one. It's pretty inexpensive. It's like $4 I believe, and it works just as great, but I do have a little bit of dry patches around my nose and I feel like that won't moisturize it as much sometimes, so I'm gonna see if this is a little bit more moisturizing. So this is all I currently have on my skin today. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. This is one of my holy grails. I've been using this for years, and honestly, I always get compliments when I wear this makeup. It just works so good. Doesn't get cakey or anything like that, and it doesn't get oily, too oily. I've tried a ton of other foundations that actually get really oily and cakey, and this one, I just love it. For my primer, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay De-Slick Complexion Primer. This also works very good at keeping me matte all day. It does fill in my pores, which is something that is like essential in my foundation routine. So I really like this, and it lasts me a long time because you only need a very little amount of the primer. So you need very little, and I mean this has almost an ounce in here, so it does last quite a long time. For my concealer, I am using the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin. This concealer is comparable to the Urban Decay. Forget what it's called, but it's a very popular one. But it's really comparable to this. I tried both. I actually ended up liking this one a little bit better. Not to mention it's only $7, so you can't really beat that. And yeah, so I'm just going to be showing you guys how I apply that all over my face. So let's get started. Alright, so like I said, you need a very little amount of this primer, so I just like to take about well, first I like to shake it a little bit because sometimes it can settle, but I just take about this much, and they recommend not to rub it in. I do realize, or I noticed that when I rub it in, it leaves kind of like white streaks. So what I like to do is kind of rub it between my hands and then just pat it in my skin, mostly where I get oily, so all around my T-zone, and that seems to work really well. So something that I also like to do is I like to make sure that all the products really settle in my skin, and like that my skin absorbs the product before putting like my foundation on it, anything like that. So I will put this on here, and I take like any piece of paper or whatever just to kind of fan out this to make sure it dries, and then that's how you know that the product has really been absorbed by your skin. So I can already tell a big difference. My skin does look a little bit smoother, and this really makes a big difference. This primer, it's I think $30, so it's a little bit on the pricier side, but I think it's worth it for the amount that it lasts you and what it does. Moving on to my foundation, I am in the shade 3.5, and this also has 1 fluid ounce. This lasts me a good amount of time as well. I don't put too much on here, so if you notice, I do have some acne scarring on here. This isn't very heavy coverage. This is actually a very light foundation, so what I like to do is put this all over my skin, and I like to set my whole face with the Studio Fix powder by MAC. It is a powder foundation, but I noticed that this works super good. This combination, it helps for it to not look cakey, and I am in the shade C40. So yeah, I just apply this all over my skin and it gives me the perfect amount of coverage. It covers every little scar that you see on my face. And I like to blend everything out with my beauty blender. Moving on to my concealer, this is in the shade Medium 40. I do find it that it's a little bit on the sheer side, but all I do is apply a little bit more than usual and it covers everything that you need to cover. So I don't do the whole highlighting because I find that in the summer it just makes my foundation a little bit too heavy. So I'm just putting this underneath my eyes, doing that triangular shape, and then I just dot it on like my darkest acne scars because I find that it helps to conceal them a little bit better. So I do like to put the concealer over my on my eyelids as well. This acts as a primer for my eyeshadow, so it's kind of like doing 2 drops in one. And I like to set this with the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I don't have the lid because I use this every day, so it's kind of just laying out here. But this is translucent. It does have a little bit of a, I mean, you can tell that it's light even though it says translucent, but it's nice because it adds a highlighting effect underneath the eyes. Super inexpensive, and for me personally, I like this better than the Laura Mercier powder because I have very dry under eyes, and I find that with that powder my fine lines would kind of settle and it would crease. With this powder I don't have that problem at all, so I did go back to this powder. And like I said, it's a lot more cheaper and it works better for my skin. After that, I go in with my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade C40, and I set all the other areas that need a little more coverage or that just need to be set with powder. As you can see, this powder is super full coverage. You don't need very much to get that flawless airbrush finish. But yeah, I really love it. I've been using it for years as well, and it never fails me. For bronzing and blush, I like to use the Sweet Peach Glow palette by Too Faced. It's my favorite, not to mention it smells so good, and you do get the highlighter, the blush, and the bronzer. I am of a darker complexion, and the bronzer looks light in the pan, but it does show up on darker skin tones, which I love. And I don't like to do anything too crazy, again, since it's very hot outside. I just like to keep it nice and light. For highlighting the face, I always use my Nicole Guerrero palette by Anastasia. It's It's my favorite. It works so nice. And today I like to mix all these colors. So today I'm going to be mixing this orangey color with this gold one. Maybe I'll throw in a little bit of that pink one as well. And to set my foundation, I use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I love this stuff. I did forget to include this, but I always like to use this as a primer as well. So I put my moisturizer on here and I spray this all over my face. Then I go ahead and go in with my primer, and that really helps make your makeup last a lot longer. I forgot to include that step today, but I notice a big difference with how my makeup looks throughout the day when I do that one little extra step. But it's okay. This still works very great to set your foundation and to make it last a lot longer. And I like to put a lot of sprays on my face just to make sure that it lasts. And again, I like to just use something to help it dry and set. And that is it, guys. This is what I do every day for my foundation. Like I said, it lasts all day. On school days, I'll apply this around 6:30 a.m. and you know, I won't take my makeup off till like 10 p.m. so it lasts all day. I don't retouch really ever unless it's super hot. But yeah, I don't ever really mess with my makeup, so that's how you know that it really lasts all day, if you don't have to go in there and retouch. Maybe I'll apply a little bit of powder like around my nose, because that's really what gets the most oily, but never really have to retouch. Like I said, this combination of all these products works amazing for me, so I hope you guys can try it out as well. I'm going to show you what the rest of my makeup looks after. Alright guys, so this is my completed makeup look, how it looks with like my bronzer, my eyeshadow and everything. I'll show you a little close-up of how my skin looks. And you guys know I have nowhere near perfect skin. I mean, you saw the clip before with me wearing no makeup. My skin is, like I said, not perfect at all whatsoever, but this makeup routine really makes it look as if I have flawless skin. So I really recommend all of these products. They last you a long time, and I know that some of the products are a little bit on the pricey side, but you really get your money's worth. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys think.